Hey folks, let's check out Elegoo's newest printer, featuring multicolor printing with good color changing speed, 350 degrees on a hardened nozzle with hardened extruder gears for a wide range of filaments, as the name suggests, also carbon fiber stuff. At the moderate noise level, fully automated calibration and mesh, a nice big touchscreen and 31 sensors doing their thing to prevent your prints from being ugly or fail. And all this for only $440. They nailed it. But that does not mean that everything is perfect. You have to accept some compromises at this price point. But in my opinion, Elegoo made them in the right places. And we're going to take a look at exactly on how they achieved that. So that you know after this video what you're getting with this printer. I also added a menu so the timeline lets you skip topics you're not interested in. Elegoo sent me this. I got no money, no script, nothing at all. Everything in this video is my opinion as always. It's the Elegoo Centauri Carbon 2 combo, and my mailman apparently played football with it. Let's see if it survived and what's included. A manual, which I won't read. A quick start guide, that's good. And this is for the mobile app. Yes, there is one. But there's also a Lan-only mode. So we can skip this for now. Oh, and my living room is my studio today. See? Studio. The printer is packaged very well and nothing arrived damaged. Inside you will find all parts needed for the assembly. The display, cables, poop chute wiper thingy, accessory box, power cable and all the multicolor system parts. Everything that could scratch during shipping is covered in protective film. And I mean everything. So far, packaging, protection and shipping speed, it arrived in 4 days, 10 out of 10. You get a double-sided build plate with 2 textured PEI surfaces. That's something I'd like to see on all printers in the future. And I did already the first grease marks.
Oh yeah, you see there.
Great. And before we take a look at this banger of a 3D printer, a quick shout out to the sponsor of the video, which is Meshy, an AI-driven platform that lets you generate 3D printable objects in no time. I normally use Fusion 360 to draw my technical 3D printing objects and sometimes Tinkercad for some quick remixes. But until I came across Meshy, I had no tool to make organic shapes like you would use on things like action figures, decor models and toys. I informed myself what's the best platform for AI generated models. Turns out for 3D printing stuff, Meshy.ai works the best. You can simply write what you want to generate or upload a photo of an object, or even a hand drawing. And in about 1 minute, Meshy creates it for you in 3D. And you can even bind it with your 3D printer to get it in the slicer of your choice, see? And this way I was able to print this model of a turtle duck, just using an image from the internet. Easy and convenient with no knowledge of 3D modeling at all. Multicolor is also possible, but I'm in holiday right now and just had my A1 Mini with me. That's why it's single colored. If you would like to check it out yourself, you can use the first link in the description to get it with a 50% discount. And now back to the Centauri Carbon 2. The quick start guide is clear and easy to follow, so let's go inside. Oh, I almost forgot the accessories. You basically get everything needed to start. And more than most printers include these days. Some PLA is included, but only enough for a Benchy. So I recommend buying some filament with this printer. For the accessories, I give it a 9 out of 10. Definitely more than usual. You even get a blade for a proper scraper and a USB stick.
Yoink.
The print bed is secured for shipping by 3 screws, so you have to remove them first. Then attach the 5-inch full-color touchscreen, which is slightly bigger than the one on the Carbon 1. Plug in the cable, click it into the frame and remove the foil. Next, install the poop chute mechanism that cleans the nozzle and ejects filament waste. On most similar printers this would already be installed, but Elegoo saved some costs here, I guess. So assembly takes a bit longer than usual, but it's still simple. Next up we can install the multi-filament system. There are 4 spool holders and I guess this is the canvas system. You have to screw in all the well-labeled parts. They made it hard to mess up, but I still managed to install the spool holder the wrong way around. They are spring-loaded and need to be mounted in the correct order. I will notice that soon. And this is the multi-filament system called Canvas, which also needs to be screwed on. There is this bracket, 2 screws to attach it to the printer and 3 screws to get the canvas in place. That's done. Then plug in the cable connecting the canvas to the printer. On the Carbon 2, the filament buffer sits directly on the print head and is fixed with 2 screws. Now I can connect everything using the 4 included PTFE tubes and stick them into the filament buffer. This part keeps the tubes together, and finally the cover goes on. Assembly took a bit longer than usual, about 30 minutes. I give it a 6 out of 10. I wanted to show this part in more detail because this is where Elegoo cut costs, and you should know what to expect. Clearly, they saved some money here, and honestly, I don't mind.
We're good to go.
Let's plug it in, but not the Ethernet, because there isn't one. Only Wi-Fi. Then the mostly automatic setup starts. You can select language and Wi-Fi and connect the printer to your phone app. Unlike some other brands, Elegoo doesn't force registration, which is nice. Still, the app is there if you want it.
We skip that for now.
There are end stops on the print bed that center the build plate. That is good. Now the automatic setup starts, including input shaping and auto bed leveling. Setup was nice and easy. I give it an 8 out of 10. The only downside is the missing Ethernet port. This took about 15 minutes. The touchscreen looks good, responds quickly, and the menu is simple and clear. Let's check what's on the included USB stick. I guess a scraper handle and a Benchy. Oh, it's a multicolor Benchy. Let's hook up some colors. Elegoo spools are recognized by RFID from the canvas system. That is simple, but also convenient and works well, and clearly costs less than a box style AMS. The filaments can then be assigned on the touchscreen or in the Elegoo slicer. The Benchy printed perfectly, until it stopped for some reason. Filament may have slipped, and the flashing red light also lets you know where the problem is. It was my fault. My badly cut filament tip prevented proper loading, so I cut it cleanly and inserted it again. Blue light means everything works now. That's a bit sensitive, but okay, once you know it. I've had pauses like this ruin prints on other printers before, so let's see how this one handles it. Thankfully, printing resumed without issues. And here you can see how strongly the textured build plate adheres to the print. That's important, and I would say above average for a stock build plate. After printing the Benchy, one poop piece got stuck in the ejection port, and that looked messy. As you can see, it caused no blockage. And it only happened once, but I still wanted to show that. I will show all the test prints later, but here's a first look at the Benchy. I give it an 8 out of 10. The walls are super clean, overhangs look great, and the bottom text is clear. Even the tiny text on the back is still recognizable. The only point lost here is a slight elephant's foot. Otherwise, it's an excellent result. Next I printed the scraper, and you can see how easy the color setup is using the touchscreen. As I said, you can also do this in the slicer. I chose blue and transparent PLA for this. I really like how you can see the infill pattern through the walls, and I'm definitely buying more of this stuff. I also put you a link to this filament in the description. The scraper blade and screws come also included. This one actually became my #1 scraper.
Pretty cool, pretty cool.
I highly recommend printing this one right away, even before the Benchy. Then I downloaded the app and connected the printer. This is what the camera looks like, not bad at all. There's a small delay, which is normal, and the image is pretty sharp. So on the app you have the color settings and the camera and can start and pause the print. Let's now test the bed leveling and automatic mesh. I printed a single layer test, and here is the result. Definitely 10 out of 10. Not a single disconnected line. Even with force, the material doesn't split along the layer lines at first. Perfect. While it printed this multicolor part, I switched off the power. Then I carried it back to the workshop while gently shaking it on the way. After plugging it back in, it asked whether to continue the print. The print then resumed without problems and came out great. With multicolor printing, color change speed is important. Most single nozzle multicolor printers need around 1.5 minutes per change. So this is quite a bit faster. Here you can also see how much purge waste these multiplex systems produce. That's why I usually try to minimize color changes. Printed like that, this part only needed 2 color swaps. I've even removed the prime tower, which reduced waste further. However, for models with many color changes, the prime tower is necessary. Out of curiosity, I printed this model without one, and that caused all these visible defects. And this again is the result with the prime tower enabled. As it should be, way better. You can enable time-lapse recording in the camera menu. The videos are saved directly on the printer and can be downloaded to the included USB drive. Now let's print something completely excessive to push the printer to its limits. This print took over a day and 13 hours and 1277 color changes. But pretty quickly the printer stopped because the AI detection thought it spotted spaghettis. Nope, false alarm. Luckily you can customize that feature in the menu, which is implemented really well. And with the AI detection changed to the low setting, it printed flawlessly and came out great. But it comes at the cost of a lot of purged filament. With such a multiplex system, I normally print multicolor parts with color changes on the first layer and on flat top surfaces, which results in significantly less purge waste. Here, for example, I designed a magnetic hard case that fits a 14-inch MacBook Pro and did it in a way that easily lets you print your logo on it and add parts in different colors with minimal to no waste. I link this in the description if you want it. And multicolor models that are split into separate colored parts can often be printed with zero waste. You frequently find such print files labeled as no AMS. Next, as a precision test, I printed several torture toasters. And on the first one I forgot to disable the brim, which fused all bottom elements together. My fault, I disabled the brim and did two more in different layer heights. So let's take a look at these. The toasts become loose when getting it from the print bed. The gears are also free and overhangs look fantastic. The 0.5 and 0.4 sliders are movable right from the print bed and the 0.3 is easily coming loose, just like the 0.2mm. The only one stuck is the 0.1mm slider. Really good so far. Now let's take a look at the toaster with 0.12 layer height. Gears are free, toasts as well. The first three sliders are movable without any help at all. But the 0.2 and 0.1mm slider are stuck and can't be freed by hand. On both settings we have very good results. Toaster quality is a solid 8 out of 10. I also received 2 updates during testing, which is great to see. Some issues I wanted to mention in this review had already been fixed through this. Good job again, Elegoo. For example, this little guy here printed after an update, and I feel like the support structures improved noticeably. The details on this tiny figure are excellent. Look, I've even colored the tiny fingernails and toenails, and they printed perfectly. One thing that still remained was the time-lapse feature occasionally turning itself off when starting a new print. And you can't enable it again while the printer is busy. That happened several times, but later I found a fix for it. More on that in a moment. Since there is no filament box that can unload the filament automatically, you have to do that by hand. And to prevent filament tangles, I highly recommend to use these spool clippies. They fit Elegoo spools perfectly. The link is in the description. Then I tested different filaments from other manufacturers. This one is from Polyterra. All of my spools fit, though I heard some exotic ones don't. For spools with holes that are too large, you can simply print an adapter like this. Problem solved. Elegoo's generic profiles seem to be very well tuned. They always worked flawlessly. In short, I had no issues with third-party filaments. And I couldn't see any difference in print quality. This funny object printed with Polymaker PLA shows that perfectly. Print quality looks excellent, and even the dimensional accuracy on this connector part here is spot on. So now let's talk about what I don't like about the Centauri Carbon 2 combo. I only had 2 major issues with this printer. Besides the time-lapse feature constantly disabling itself, I also had repeated Wi-Fi connection problems. And that was annoying, but in the end I managed to fix both issues with a single setting. As soon as I switched the printer to Lan-only mode, the time-lapse issue disappeared and the Wi-Fi connection became stable. Elegoo, please fix this, and we would have an even better printer than this already is. Conclusion. Elegoo makes 3D printers that deliver great results on a budget. That was the case when I bought my Neptune 4 Pro some years ago. I paid 380 Swiss francs for it, and they've succeeded again with the Carbon 2, which is better in any aspect at an even lower price, which is crazy. But they have to cut costs somewhere to make it that cheap. And in my opinion, they saved money in the right places. During assembly, there are quite a few parts that need to be screwed together. This is explained very good in the quick start guide, so even a beginner can do this. The camera isn't the best and the time-lapse recording don't look very good. But the chamber lighting is good and live view is absolutely fine for monitoring your print. I am used to printers with AMS style boxes, and although these systems have their advantages when it comes to filament drying, this open spool system is simpler and above all reduces price. If you're printing with sensitive filaments, you can directly print from a filament dryer. I can recommend the models from iBoss, which I use myself. If you can live with these compromises, you really get a lot for your money here. Oh, I forgot, you even get an activated carbon filter and a vent system that opens and closes accordingly to what you're printing. That is also much appreciated. For me, the Centauri Carbon 2 strikes the perfect balance between an affordable printer for beginners and a high-quality, modern and closed printer for advanced users. So I can highly recommend this printer. Elegoo tried to offer the best bang for your buck, and they delivered. And with the link in the description below, where you can also find all the other things shown in this video, you can also find this printer at the lowest price possible, so feel free to check it out. For most filaments the Carbon 2 does a great job, but because of the hood design the chamber have more volume, and that means it takes longer to reach temperatures. So if you often print things like ABS and nylons, you would profit from a model with chamber heating, and I therefore would recommend taking a look at the Qidi Q2, which is a beast in this regard. Here is the video to that, and here is a video about my favorite techniques for filament drying, with a lot of good tips to save you some money and lets you recycle silica gel. If you don't want to miss the next video, make sure that you're subscribed and like and comment to your heart's desire. I wish you a good time printing, and we see us in the next one.